Sometimes a person's whole life changes because of one moment, one small act, one simple kindness that reaches a heart that has been hurting in silence for years. This is the story of a lonely boy and the stranger who changed everything. There was a 12-year-old boy named Rafi, quiet, shy, and always sitting in the last row of the classroom where no one noticed him. He wasn't a bad student. He wasn't rude. He wasn't strange. He was just alone. At school, he ate lunch by himself. On the playground, he stood near the wall while the others played. And at home, his parents were so busy working that they barely noticed the silence in his eyes. Rafi's world was small. It felt like he didn't exist. And worst of all, he had started believing that maybe he didn't matter. But life has a strange way of sending a blessing when the heart is close to giving up. One cold morning, Rafi walked to school with his head down. His shoes were worn out, the laces torn, and the sole almost coming apart. Other kids noticed and whispered. Some even laughed. Rafi pretended he couldn't hear them, but every laugh felt like a needle in his chest. That day in class, his teacher announced something that made his stomach drop. Tomorrow is sports day. Everyone must participate. Everyone except Rafi. He knew he couldn't run with his broken shoes. He didn't want anyone laughing again. He didn't want to make a fool of himself. So he decided he would pretend to be sick and stay home. But destiny had other plans. After school, while walking home, Rafi passed a small roadside shop. An old man sat there, repairing shoes with gentle hands and kind eyes. Rafi stood there for a moment, staring at a pair of running shoes displayed on the side. They weren't fancy, but to a boy with torn shoes, they looked like magic. The old shopkeeper noticed him and smiled. "You like them?" Rafi quickly shook his head. He didn't want anyone to know his situation. But the man looked at his shoes, broken, patched, barely holding together. He didn't ask questions. He didn't make Rafi feel ashamed. He just said, "Come here, beta. Sit." Rafi hesitated, but something in the man's voice felt safe. He sat down quietly. The shopkeeper gently held his shoes and examined them. "You walk a lot, don't you?" Rafi nodded. "These won't last long," the man whispered softly. "Let me fix them." Before Rafi could respond, the man began repairing the torn sole. He worked slowly, carefully, like he was fixing something precious. Rafi watched silently. No one had ever paid him this kind of attention. No one ever cared about something that mattered to him. When the repair was done, the shoes looked almost new. Rafi smiled, a real smile, the first one in weeks. He reached into his pocket nervously. He had only 10 rupees. He looked down with embarrassment and whispered, I don't have much." The man placed his hand on Rafi's shoulder. "Beta, kindness doesn't need payment." Then, he did something Rafi could never have imagined. He picked up the running shoes Rafi had been staring at and placed them gently beside his feet. "These are for you." Rafi's eyes widened. "For me? But I can't." "Shoo," the man said softly. "Every child deserves to run without fear." Tears filled Rafi's eyes, not because of the shoes, but because someone finally saw him. Someone cared. The next day, sports day, Rafi stood at the starting line wearing the gifted shoes. His heart beat fast, not from fear, but from something he hadn't felt in a long time. Hope. When the whistle blew, Rafi ran like the wind. He didn't look left or right. He didn't worry about being last. He just ran. For the first time in his life, he felt free. By the final lap, he was ahead. His classmates, the same boys who laughed at him, now watched in shock. Rafi crossed the finish line. First, the cheers around him felt unreal. His teacher hugged him. His classmates clapped. Everyone chanted his name. But in that loud moment, Rafi thought of the quiet man at the shoe shop, the one who believed in him when no one else did. After school, Rafi ran to the shoe shop, trophy in hand. He wanted to show the old man what his kindness had created. But when he reached the shop, the shutters were closed. A neighbor standing there said, "Baba G left early today. He wasn't feeling well." Rafi felt disappointed, but he placed his small trophy on the shop counter, with a note that said, "Because of you, I ran for the first time in my life. Thank you for seeing me." The next morning, the shop door was open, and displayed right at the front was Rafi's trophy. The old man stood inside, smiling with tears in his eyes. He said only one sentence, "Beta, this is not your win. This is your beginning." Rafi never forgot those words, or that moment. That one small act of kindness lit a fire in his heart. He grew up to become a sports coach, helping hundreds of children who felt lonely, forgotten, or afraid, just like he once was. And whenever someone asked why he cared so much, he always smiled and said, "Because one man once taught me that a small act of kindness can change a whole life." Sometimes, people don't need big miracles. They just need a moment of kindness, a gentle word, a helping hand, a little love, because even the smallest act can heal a heart, lift a soul, and change someone's future forever.